Hey everybody, welcome back to From Chai to Cheerios. I'm Kruthi.
This is Rahul.
And this is our wonderful buddy, Sher. He is our dog. He is our first son. And he will be joining us in the video today.
Say hi, Sheru.
No, his ears are up. That means he's alert and excited. He's like, nah, I'm out of here.
You have better place to sleep.
Sher, come here. Come here, sit. All right, so the reason why we included Sher in this video is because A, he's way too excited whenever we shoot our videos. He's always trying to be included. And that made us think, why not share our story where we adopted Sher?
Yeah, it's been a while. This is like 2 years.
Three
actually. Time flies, It's we got him like when he's like this big. This big actually. Like he's so tiny he can actually fit in my lap kind of thing actually over there.
He was so cute.
It was so nice time actually when he was like a baby, but it
went by very quickly.
He grew up very, very fast,
Very fast, because I think the reason, part of the reason why we feel like it went by too fast was because I became pregnant. I conceived around the same time, just a few months apart, and so we were so busy with that we didn't even realize he was like growing up until like I think the time of delivery. We actually saw him once and we realized, oh my God, he grew so much.
Yeah.
And then at his annual appointment too, his vet was very surprised to see how much he had grown as well.
I mean, he behaves like a kid actually, like a puppy I can say. Even though he's like this big, he doesn't know like how big he is actually. He still thinks like he's just like a tiny baby kind of thing. And you are the one who bought him actually. Pretty much I can say, because I have dogs back in India, so it's not a new thing for me. But the thing is that I always have doubts like how to get a pet in US, because the problem is everyone kind of scared me, I can say a little bit. Like, they call it like high maintenance. Because, dogs comes with a price tag again. Just like babies, dogs comes with their own things actually. So you have to maintain them. You have to make sure that they're properly vaccinated and their food is properly done over there. That kind of scared me to get a dog. So, and you never had a dog. You never.
Yeah, I never had a dog.
This is your first baby or pet.
I think I've always wanted a dog. Even as a kid, like I would beg my parents to get a dog because I think the love that they give is very unconditional. Like you don't find the level of affection a lot. And as a child who grew up without friends like so much, I had very few friends. I felt like a dog would help with that. And they say like if you take your dog out for a walk, you meet people, you interact with a lot of people at the dog parks and stuff like that. I heard a lot of stories that said that, if you have a dog, you take him out, you meet people as well, and, you have them as your friend. And so I think I've always wanted a dog for that reason. And also I love animals. Like I really do. And dogs are like the best to me, honestly.
So we don't want to buy a dog. I mean, there are options that you can buy a dog for, let's say like $4,000, $5,000. There's like price tag for each breed, each specific type of dog and stuff. But my idea or our idea here is we want to give like a better life for a pet over there. And for anyone who is interested in actually having a pet, the best place to start is go to a shelters nearby your house and try to explore and see if they have any pets that you might like. If you really think of getting a pet, or if you know how to get a pet in the house and how your lifestyle changes, it will itself says that how much a big difference it will make having a good pet in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I think like to add on to your point, I think our intention isn't the fact that, you shouldn't buy pets, and we're not shaming anybody who does. Everybody has their own preference. And so like your local county pet rescues, if you go there, you can find a lot of pets that have been abandoned. You see a lot of cases where puppies are born and then they don't know what to do with the puppies, so they put them in boxes and dump them out in the street or something. And they rescue these animals. They take good care of them. they struggle so much because of lack of funding. And so I highly encourage anybody watching to, explore that option as well. Like if you're into charities, if you want to donate and you're trying to find a good spot, like I think the shelters are a really good place as well to consider, because they are always needing food and things for the animals so that they can take care of them, and medical costs as well. And there's a lot of animals that have been abused and they've been hurt, and so these people really take care of them and make sure that they go to a home that is valuing them.
Yeah, and in these shelters, if you look at any pet, like maybe cat, dog, doesn't matter, they all have a story, and their stories are really, like, really heart touching, I can say. That's it's painful. For example, like Sheru's mother, she got an abusive owner,
Yeah.
actually, the pet owner, and he did abuse her like really, really bad, such a way that she has to lose pretty much all the babies. Actually, I think he's like the runt of the litter kind of
Yeah,
thing.
so just to clarify, like Cher, when we adopted Cher, we didn't even plan on actually adopting him at the time. We were searching for dogs, and he was at one of the shelters that were like, it was almost an hour and a half away from our house.
Yeah.
Um, we had seen a lot of shelters by that time. We had visited adoption events at the time, and we were rejected for very silly reasons, and that was really hurtful. Like
Stupid reasons.
it's kind of like trying to adopt a kid and being rejected for it, and it's really hurtful.
And you remember, actually, like, we went to adopt a puppy actually over there, and they gave it to the people who already have puppies, and they took that puppy, and then after a few weeks they returned that puppy, actually. Like, kind of
Yeah,
thing,
like there
actually.
was this puppy. He was so adorable. He was a chocolate lab, and he was a chocolate lab mix. And so we really wanted him. He really loved us when we met him, and it was so nice. And they were asking us a lot of questions. I think they were skeptical because we were first time pet owners, and I feel like the reason why they chose people with pets already in the house is because with dogs, if they have a fellow pet friend in the house, they grow up very active and very happy, because it's very different with different dogs. And so I think that's the reason why they chose them. But unfortunately, like you said, it was heartbreaking because we felt bad because we couldn't get him. But what was more heartbreaking was that after a few months, that same family returned the dog because of its breed.
Yeah.
And I think I want to talk about that in another video as well. That the whole situation with breed, like the obsession over this one breed, and misconceptions about it, and things like that. So I think that was like the terrible part. And when I found out that they had returned them, I actually contacted the shelter and told them, we were very heartbroken. And, we adopted a dog eventually, but, that could have been like a really nice home for that dog. But I think I eventually accepted it because we were destined to have him. So that's fine because he's an amazing dog. We love him. He is a very big part of our life.
He chose us, actually.
He chose
We
us.
didn't choose him. Yeah.
He chose us. So we saw a lot of dogs, and we went to a lot of adoption events, and we kept getting rejected. And then one day I ran across a shelter on Instagram, and I saw this little guy's picture. That picture just melted my heart. He was so cute. I saw the ad, and I saw that they were looking for a family to send him to, and they wrote a little bit about his story, which was very heartbreaking, like you said. And in that shelter, Sheru was actually with his mom. Like we met his mom as well. And Cher's name was actually something different. I don't want to reveal it in this video. And the shelter was not really in a good space because they were losing funding. There was lack of space. They eventually moved to a nice facility afterwards, but when we went to visit Sher, it was pretty bad. His mom, he was abused by a horrible, horrible person. He was very violent, and she was pregnant with the puppies, and I was told that he was the runt of the litter, and only one or two puppies survived in the litter, and so he was one of the ones that survived. And so when we went to visit Cher, his mom was so traumatized that she could, whenever she smells like males, a male person, like a biological male, she panics and she just starts barking. And so when Rahul actually entered that area, she was having a panic attack. And so they had to send him out. And I was the one that got to meet him and his mom was like very gentle towards me. And I think she understood something like that he was probably happy with me, because apparently he was very friendly. He's very like, he loves people, but he never got to like a point where he goes to people himself and and it was very comfortable. But I think the shelter, one of the shelter workers saw that he immediately came to us. He was like so happy when he came to us. I wish someone took a video of that, because
Yeah.
that's like one of the most amazing experiences. And I think by that time, when we visited a lot of the other shelters, they were like, oh, there needs to be a background check. There needs to be a form and process and
Too
everything,
much nonsense.
which makes sense. We didn't want to get too attached, because we didn't want to be disappointed. We had seen like a few rejections at the time, and I got so heartbroken. And so I was carrying him around like a little baby around the shelter, and people were just like, oh, he's meant to be with you and things like that. And so I was mentally preparing myself. I could not let him go, but I was mentally preparing myself that, okay, we're going to have to fight a battle. We're going to have to do this whole process, however long it takes, however much it takes. I want this dog in my life. And so when we went to the worker, I don't even know, like she immediately said, do you want to go home with him today? We were not prepared at all. We did not have any dog supplies at home. We did not have food at home. And so we were just, our minds were blown. We just looked at each other and we were just like, are you, what?
The reason I'm saying this is because people who are coming for these adoptions, right? Actually, the first time adoption people, they're very curious and they're very cautious as well. So they don't just get a pet and leave it in the room for the rest of the day or something like this. They make sure of those things. And the other thing is that the shelter lady, when we spoke to her, she clearly mentioned that they have to keep lots of dogs to sleep because they're out of space.
Yeah.
They're out of funding and stuff. So instead of keeping the pets to sleep, why can't you give to the nice people over there, who are willing to adopt and stuff? I mean, if they can't handle, they'll eventually get it back to you anyway.
Right.
But give an opportunity for the people who are really, really interested in getting a pet, because it's not a pet for them. It's going to be a family member
I
for
think to them, like thinking in their shoes, I think they're more interested in the commitment and the care rather than like interest. Because that dog that we were supposed to adopt first, there was interest, there was care, but essentially it was not a commitment they were willing to make. And so I think they've seen so many cases that they've become that rigid just so they place them in the correct home, which is not wrong. But I think for people like us who were really desperate to get a dog, it's a very hard process. And so when we finally like got to know that we get to take him home on the same day, it was shocking to us. And I just started crying. I was like, my God, I do not believe this is happening. And we just checked his vaccination fee. We made sure to so the shelter that he was at, it was basically a thrift store and a shelter combined. And so the thrift store has like pet supplies and stuff. They have those like water bowls and they had like little crates and leashes. And so we got a leash, we got his water bowls, and then we stopped by Petco on the way home and got his food and crate. And we carried him around in the cart with us. It was so cute. And everybody was just so happy to see a puppy that small. But it was a really good day. Like I really loved that day.
Yeah, and people who think like, dogs are like high maintenance. I call it maintenance, not high maintenance. Maintenance is a different thing. High maintenance is a different thing.
It's like you're taking care of a baby. It's just
For
another living being.
for first couple of months, you have to spend a lot of money. That is the fact, because as a first time pet owner or dog owner, actually, you don't know how to, let's say, how to give a bath, or let's say what kind of food you can give them, all those things actually. Food,
Yeah.
I don't spend like ton of money on the food as well. So, and if you're like so much hygiene concentrated person, right, you can keep your pet in a crate. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Eventually, it's not about money. It's about the amount of energy that this guy brings to the home. And also, he's kind of like emotional support thing for people actually who
Yeah.
is really going through like lots of trauma, or let's say
Yeah,
anxiety.
and whoever visits our house, he senses,
Yeah.
their anxiety. He senses their pain if they're physically in pain. Or I think that's the same for all dogs, but I think he's a lot more emotional. Like I feel that he has that grounding. So he senses if something's not okay. He goes to that person and he snuggles up, like he's doing this to me right now. That's out of love, but like if he senses something is wrong, he actually goes to them and touching his nose to you and says like, it's like asking, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" So it's really sweet. And I think that's why every single person that has visited us just fell in love with him, because he's that emotional.
Come into your life to give love and affection, and as a lot of people they call it, actually they are unconditional lovers. They don't expect a lot from you. All they expect is like little bit of care, concern, and little bit of love from you. That's all they need, and rest everything they will take care of them by
Yeah.
themselves actually.
And I think that's what worked out with us. I think we never, again, same with the house conversation like we had before. We did not envision in having a pet. I really wanted one and I begged you for one. That's a different case. But I don't think we were anticipating it really soon. But when it eventually did happen, things just fell into place. And, he came to us. Like we did not search specifically. He just came to us and it was just meant to be at the time. And I think after he entered into our lives, I think everything just started to fit
Yep.
very nicely because, after I got pregnant, I was on bed rest for a little bit. I was high risk. And so he would be by my side and be like that cheerleader. And he and I would, take naps on the couch together whenever I couldn't sleep at night. He came into our life at a really good time. And I think once we did realize that, that having pets is not super high maintenance, depending on what breed they are. And I think we have to thank our cousins for that, your cousins specifically. Hi, Adibala. Just wanted to say hi and shout you guys out because without you, I don't think we would have had the courage to adopt Sher. And I think I really, really am so grateful to them because they've helped us in so many ways. They've been our cheerleaders. They've been our major support. We love their kids and we love their fur buddies. And so because of their dogs and seeing how they are with their dogs and how dogs can be with a family, that gave us the confidence to say, I think we're ready. And so thank you, Ajibala and Purnimaka. We just wanted to shout you guys out and say thank you. Thanks to them, we were able to get the confidence and then we finally adopted him. So we'd love to hear anybody who has any stories that they want to share with us. If you guys have any tips that you want to share that you do with your dogs, please let us know. And if you want to know more about what we do with Sher and how we take care of him, please let us know as well if you want us to cover a specific topic. We would be more than happy to do that. Sheru, you want to say bye?
Yes, Levy.
Hey, buddy, you want to say bye?
Yes.
He's done. But all right, well, thank you guys for tuning in today. So thank you for listening and see you guys in the next episode. Bye.